Hi, welcome to the Behind the Byline, a podcast by PR Newswire, where we chat with journalists and editors across APAC on what goes behind their bylines. We will find out more about a day in their work lives, trends, and developments they are tracking, and how PR professionals can work better with them. I am Stephanie, the Audience Development Manager at PR Newswire. Today, my guest is Rachel Lee, Assistant Editor of TTG Asia. Based in Singapore, Rachel has more than 10 years of experience working with companies like Pearson Education, Singapore Press Holdings, and currently TTG Asia Media. She is adept at penning articles and stories across a range of topics from travel to food to lifestyle and business news. Welcome, Rachel, to the podcast.
Hello.
Yeah, to ease into things, do you want to share a fun fact about yourself?
Well, I think a fun fact of myself would be, actually, I nearly quit a few months into this job at TTG, but actually it's been about 7 years now when I look back.
Wow.
Because it was very, very difficult to grasp what exactly my editors wanted in my copies, and they kept getting thrown back to me and then reworked, and what type of information that was needed was not, I would say, appropriate, because I came from a lifestyle and consumer-facing background.
Mm-hmm.
So learning the ropes of B2B, well, and I'm still learning things every day. It was really, really challenging.
Wow, I'm sure 7 years is no easy feat, and I'm pretty sure that you're well acquainted with the TTG Asia media branding by now. Yeah, can you share with us more about TTG Asia and what's so unique about the news coverage?
Okay, so TTG is a B2B trade publication company that covers, like, usually what I would say a less glamorous side of travel. Although I believe we are impactful in our own right. We are very, very niche, and we actually our audience is actually travel agents, hospitality players, and for other titles now in our stable, such as TTGmice, that is actually geared towards association chiefs, event organizers, corporate planners. So the markets we serve are actually different across the publications. Yeah.
I see, okay. And also because you're in the travel sector and with the pandemic severely affecting this industry, but however, things seem to be picking up with more countries lifting their travel restrictions. How has this impacted your news coverage to the developing situation in the region?
Oh, recent news coverage has been, I would say, through the roof. I've never been busier this time, like last year. Over the past years, it's been really, really crappy. So it's been really, really refreshing to do travel news again. Everybody's excited, everybody's raring to go, and after 2 years of doom and gloom, this is actually really great. And I was given a chance to attend two media fam trips to Thailand and Australia, and oh, trust me, when you get on an airplane, the feeling of flying off and taking off, it was, yeah, it nearly brought me to tears. I just couldn't stop smiling. Yeah, and the number of ideas and pictures and stories generated from each trip is actually what motivates me. I mean, compared to the last 2 years, the writing felt really dreary, and we kept like flogging a dead horse because there was just not much information. Yeah,
I'm sure many people are also wanting to go back to travel overseas as well. Yeah, so
of course.
yeah. Also, so what type of news in the travel industry are you looking out for now as travel boundaries are reopening? Like maybe there are new openings or hygiene or healthcare initiatives or any MICE destination that will be focusing on with business travel resuming?
I mean, we take any press release that comes from travel hospitality. It's just that sometimes it depends on whether they are angled towards our publications or not. So, give an example. So we do hotel openings, we do destination announcements. Like, for example, Philippines Department of Tourism just announced sustainable farm tours. We also run certain things called a little bit more lifestyle, that's under What to Buy Now, which is for travel agents to be kept updated of the freshest products that come out from different attractions or hotels. And then, yeah, something like that, things like that. Yeah. And also, we do run hot deals. We call it hot deals. And it's also packages for more consumer facing, but it's also to let the travel agents know that, hey, these exist, that you could actually sell to your customers as well. Yeah.
I see. And previously you mentioned about media familiarization. So
Mm.
during these trips, what are some of the story opportunities you look out for?
Okay, I give you an example. So I recently attended Australia Travel Tourism, which was held in Sydney. And I mean, as I said previously, we were vlogging. I mean, I felt like I was vlogging a dead horse, but at that particular trade show, I managed to pick up a story on working holiday makers and how this group was crucial to addressing Australia's labor crunch. And so I conceived that angle from start to end. That means I found the angle, I did the relevant interviews, and I wrote it up. And I think it was one of my best pieces I've done to date because I mean, as I said, after 2 years of doom and gloom and being able to write such thing again and meet people in person, it's very, very, very different from writing from your computer actually.
Sounds interesting too.
Yeah.
And also just to change things up a little bit, can you share with us how a regular workday is like for you?
On Mondays and Thursdays, I usually have a newsletter sent out. So those days busier than others, but other days I usually write stories or I edit pieces from our contributors based throughout APAC, as well as on and off, we also have media events to attend. And that's where we also meet industry folks. And so yeah. So the rest of the days, like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I write or edit. So yeah.
Okay. And what has been the most memorable assignment or interview that you've done in your career, and why is it so memorable?
It will have to be my very first time I was sent alone to visit Japan Travel Mart. I say alone because TTG actually we run 2 trade shows a year, and those 2 trade shows I would say a good number of the company goes and my colleagues go as well. So when I say alone means like literally it's just you alone. So and this was way back in 2017. At that point, I mean like uh it was my first solo travel trade show. That was where I had the creative freedom to actually sniff around for stories, talk to people, and I mean, there's something always about mastering the courage to actually politely stop someone and speak to them because sometimes they're busy in the trade show, they're hustling about from day to day, so it's a bit hard.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so and most of the stories that come out from these trade shows are actually the most I'm proudest of because they're actually fresh angles that I actually sniffed out at the trade show, which is why in-person meetings are so much more important than actually doing, I would say, getting pictures from, but from PR professionals, yeah. So I mean, of course, we appreciate having PR professionals who actually send us press releases that sometimes pitch a topic, like for example, we may not have thought of. But a lot of the times, the topics a lot of the times, not sometimes, they actually are things that have really been done and dusted. So if the more revolutionary or the more game-changing, I would say, the idea is, the higher tendency it is for us to pick up the interview.
Okay. And so since you mentioned about your first solo travel trade show, what type of stories are you looking out for when you attend B2B travel trade shows?
I would say fresh tourism perspectives, like for example, okay, like digital, like let's say digitalization. Now it's so big, like hybrid events and so big. So I'm on the lookout for say new products that can actually contribute very much to this event tech world, or say something revolutionary like an app that actually puts like an app that actually puts all like travel agents in one place to like look for, so that they can be easily found or in a directory or something like that. It's just something different that's not been done and dusted yet.
Yeah, I understand. And when it comes to receiving pitches from PR professionals, what do you look out for that gets your attention?
Yeah. So usually, as I said just now, the more unique the pitch, the better. Such as a fresh tourism perspective or something that's not spoken to death, like digital lock keys or using your phone to unlock a hotel room, because that's already been done and dusted by so many people. So like, I don't know if you have something revolutionary like a robot opening the door for you or something like that. It's I know it's a bit far-fetched, but I'm just giving an example. So it will be like, it will catch my attention much easier. So yeah, like for example, recently I dealt with a destination's press release that announced a new program. So the angle was the new program, but that destination chose to use the opportunity to put all sorts of unrelated information into this press release, like recent wins, sustainability measures, and the whole press release was 2,000 words long. So to be honest, 2,000 words long is not ideal because I don't have time to go and sift through all. And also, if I'm not just talking about the angle specific to the new program, then I would just delete the rest. I mean, I wouldn't even bother to post it up. Because for us, when we receive our press releases, we actually process them on our end. We don't put them up wholesale. So either we find the angle, or we can go with the press releases angle, but we will cut things out that's not relevant. So in that case, I only had 300 words and it was very frustrated because I had to rephrase and cut a lot and wade through so much text. So please don't send those type of press releases to us.
I understand. And so if there were interesting angles from the press release, and there's not enough available within that press release itself, would you then approach the media contact for that press release to find out more information?
Of course. And then also we need photos sometimes. And I recently ran into a lot of trouble getting photos because like I know that PR professionals was actually send like SharePoint or something, but for some reason, when we click SharePoint, we can't go in. So maybe like usually WeTransfer or say a Dropbox will actually help way more. Or else we got to go click back and forth a couple of times.
That's right. So it's best to include photos within the press release, like high resolution photos or any multimedia assets, right?
I actually think that's not possible because emails, they have a limited space. So I mean, a link to like Dropbox or WeTransfer, that would be great. Actually, that works best.
Okay. Yeah. Great. That's good to know. And so receiving press release is part and parcel of your job, as you mentioned. So how do you actually sift through the pile of press releases and decide which ones to follow up on?
To be honest, I just read the headlines. So if the headline catches my eye, then yes, I would look more into it. Like for example, if I get a headline that talks about air cargo or like satellites, which is something that's not relevant to the travel hospitality industry, even though it does affect to a certain extent, like how aircrafts use satellite to travel, but it does not affect our audience who are actually travel agents, then I would usually throw it in the bin. But anything else I'll definitely look through. Say, for example, like recently a tech company that dealt with hybrid and virtual events. They actually sent me a cold email, but it caught my eye because they told me what they were doing and they were into the metaverse and things like that. So, and then that's when we first connected, and then we moved on from there. We actually ran a few articles based on Event X. So it's really nice to work with people who really know what the company is looking for before they even send you that email. Yeah, so that would really help.
Okay. And what type of content, like say research reports or ideas for story development, infographics, byline articles by guests, would you like to receive from PR professionals that will be useful for your reporting?
Yes, if you're talking about like opinions from say thought leaders and things like that, we actually do run them verbatim. So if it's again a new idea in the industry and things, or they have something they feel very strongly about, like for example, sustainability is a fad, things like that are impactful, we actually run them verbatim. As for stories that we are working on ourselves or our angles, we usually need to send emails to the PRs to get a more focused answer.
Okay, so how do you think media pitches to you can be improved?
Okay, I feel that sometimes like press releases are blindly sent to us, but again, it may not be something under our purview. We will help with the PR, will read up on the company, look at some of our articles, and think of our audience, which is travel agents, corporate organizers, event planners, before like putting forth a pitch that could interest us. So, for example, my publications are B2B, so like certain lifestyle pitches, say a calendar listing, like say a new exhibition that opened up, would not be something I would run. But if the hotel ran, say, packages for Singaporeans only or Southeast Asian customers only, yes, that would be something we would run under our hot deals section.
Okay.
So yeah.
And also, what type of pitches or interview opportunities would work best for a B2B publication like yours?
Actually, I think that everything is linked to a certain extent. So as long as the topic can be linked to tourism and hospitality, that would be of interest to our readers and our audience. I mean, anything can go actually. Like now, the most in thing is metaverse. Sorry, yeah, it's about metaverse and how it's affecting. Even CapitaLand is into metaverse now, but yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that actually can be tied into travel hospitality. It's how PRs can pitch it to us and how we can work together. Sometimes, I mean, we have to work with PRs to actually refine the ideas. Then that will actually come out to be make it a good idea.
Absolutely. And how do you hope PR pros can work better with you and your team in helping your team to keep abreast of developments in your newsbeat?
I think it's most important that PR professionals understand our audience, think of what they want, put themselves in their shoes, and then send us the press release. That way you will know like whether we'll pick it up or not. Yeah. I mean, destinations, if you're a destination, most likely we'll run something on you already and things like that. And TTG also, we also on lookout for partnerships with destinations. So please, feel free to email us.
All right. And we're approaching our last question here. So what upcoming trends or topics or events in 2022 that you would be keen to report on?
Firstly, I think revenge travel will be a good topic to watch because everybody wants to travel now. Look at the passport wait, 6 weeks. Look at the airfare prices. It's surged by 30-40%, and people are still traveling. So I actually wonder how long revenge travel will last, and certain around certain sustainability topics like that. So for example, like how sustainable is the world really going to be, even though they are saying that they want to be sustainable, but whether people actually walk their talk is another thing. So we're also happy to hear about any new and innovative tourist products that agents should know about, and in the direction of the industry in general for continuous improvement. So things like this, feel free to send it to me.
Great. So thank you so much, Rachel. And that was Rachel Lee, Assistant Editor at TTG Asia on Behind the Byline podcast. Look out for more episodes on the PR Newswire APAC social media channels on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll see you next time.